I always thought Billy Mitchell was the king of frivolous lawsuits, but he can't even hold a candle to Russia. You remember a few months ago we were talking about how Russia is suing Google for over $2.5 decillion, which is an unfathomable amount of money. If you added up every single breath every single human being has ever taken since Adam and Eve, it wouldn't even come close to 2.5 decillion, let alone 2.5 decillion doubloons being a reasonable amount of money to ask for. It doesn't exist. It can't exist. I just learned about another lawsuit coming from Russia where a Russian League of Legends streamer has successfully sued Twitch for over $200 Nonillion, so a little less than what Google's on the hook for, all because he received a ban on the platform and was able to make a case in Russian court that is trying to enforce a $200 Nonillion fine on Twitch for the injustice this League of Legends streamer faced, even though in his entire time on Twitch, he himself only made $2,000. So the math checks out. Actually, that seems about par for the course. It is so interesting. To help put this number in perspective, just how preposterous it is, there is an estimated 200 sextillion stars in the known universe. So this League of Legends streamer is looking to receive more money than there are stars in the known universe. Good luck. I mean, maybe he'll get some fairy godparents and be able to poof that money into existence, because that's the only way that shit's gonna happen. I was gonna try and find a clever way of tying $200 million into a subtle, cheeky shout-out, but I couldn't, so I'm gonna do it abruptly. Go to usecheeky.com and use code LUCKY for our St. Patrick's Day sale where you can get 10% off all of our soap. It's the best soap in the universe. In fact, if you use Cheeky, over 200 nonillion beings across the universe will say that you look and smell great. You look real clean. So yeah, it's usecheeky.com, and the code is LUCKY for the 10% off. Now to sum up the lore here, he was a League of Legends streamer named Likkrit, and he was suspended in 2022 after the invasion of Ukraine, and the US imposed sanctions, and he was banned as a result. His father is also a Russian oligarch who apparently has some pretty close ties to Putin. After being banished to the Shadow Realm and not receiving payments from Twitch as a result of the sanctions, he took it to a Russian court in June and October of 2022, which Twitch called a violation of its terms of service. The first lawsuit was dismissed without prejudice, but the second one, well, the Russian law decided that one's got some meat on its bones. That one's got some real oomph to it, some pep in its step, and said that it violated his rights by suspending and demonetizing his accounts. So, the Russian court demanded that Twitch restore the account or pay a compounding penalty for non-compliance, basically the naughty boy penalty, where if you don't play ball and bend the knee to the most outrageous of demands, it's going to get worse. And Twitch, since they haven't reinstated the account, is racking up a fine of 100,000 rubles each day the account is not reinstated, and doubling each week without limit, per Twitch's lawsuit, which has reached astronomical levels. That's the exact same John Madden playbook textbook maneuver we saw Russia use against Google. The compounding penalty of 1,000 rubles every day and doubling each week. That's how you've reached these 2.5 decillion and now $200 million fines. More money than exists on the planet, no doubt. And this is their go-to, it seems, in Russian court. If they're going to penalize a company, it looks like they go for this compounding penalty anime finishing move. This is their Kamehameha. It seems like this is pretty common, and I'm only just now learning about how frequent it is. I kind of want to take a plunge into some other notable court cases in Russia just to see if they do this for everything. Like a baker sold you stale bread, you took him to court, and now he owes you 1,000 rubles every day that you've had to have that stale bread in your intestinal tract, and it doubles each week without limit. I just wonder how often that's used. You know what I mean? Because now we've seen 2 instances of it, and it's just comical. I'm sure Twitch is going to fork over $200 million any day now. I can already just see the League of Legends streamer doing this with his hands we won, we did it, so any day now that money's going to be hitting my piggy bank. I'm sure Twitch is going to start feeling the pressure of this imaginary money demand very soon. Like, you might as well be suing Twitch for glorbluckles. Like, it's actual nonsense gibberish here, because these numbers are not reasonable at all. It's phony baloney. Like, you can't actually enforce them no matter what. But it's not stopping them from trying, and I really appreciate that chutzpah, because it is fucking amazing. A Twitch lawyer said, because this penalty doubles each week, it purportedly is now larger than all the money in the world, unjustified on any measure, wholly disproportionate to less than the $2,000 in revenue generated by the League of Legends streamer's account while active. But in 2023, the League of Legends streamer filed a Turkish enforcement action to enforce the Russian ruling, serving the action on Amazon's Turkey office, which maintains that the agreements that he signed were with Twitch, not Amazon, making the actions invalid. Twitch and Amazon have been deprived of legal certainty provided by those agreements and subjected to Russian courts' application of Russian laws specifically designed to undermine U.S. sanction, Twitch lawyers wrote. Twitch is now looking to U.S. courts to kind of pump the brakes on this lunacy here. Like, it's a joke. Like, this is just a complete circus of a lawsuit. I don't think there's any reasonable person on the planet that would read this case and be like, nope, League of Legends streamers 100% in the right here. He is owed $200 million for the suspension. Now, from what I can see, he wasn't suspended due to, like, bad behavior. He didn't do anything naughty. Like, he didn't, bring his sack out on stream and get rambunctious or anything. It truly was the result of those sanctions that went into place that prevented them from being able to send out payments to Russian streamers. And I'm not normally one to defend Twitch, but what the fuck were they supposed to do there? Just ignore the sanctions and get themselves in the legal hot water for it? Just so they could pay this League of Legends streamer his $200 for the year? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know how they were supposed to, do that. And as far as the suspension goes, I don't think it was exclusive to just his account. From what I've read from the sanctions, they did that for a lot of Russian streamers. So it doesn't look like they decided just to fuck this guy in the face for no reason. So, yeah, I just had to talk about that. These Russian lawsuits of compounding penalties are fucking incredible. They are so goofy. It's just not real. But it is kind of a fun thought experiment. Let's say Amazon as a whole, not just Twitch specifically, is on the hook here for the $200 million. This League of Legends streamer's got him in the palm of his hands. And he's forcing Amazon to run it down mid for him and actually give him this money eventually. Assuming Amazon makes $1 trillion a year, which they don't. From what I can see, they make about $580 billion a year. So, like, they're halfway there, but it's easier to use $1 trillion. If they make $1 trillion a year, it would take them an entire millennium, 1,000 years, of every dollar they make throughout that millennium going to this debt to even make it to a quadrillion dollars, which is not even a fraction of the total that they owe this League of Legends streamer. It would take them until the universe itself dies of a heat death to even come close to being able to make that amount of money to pay him back. It's just not possible. Unless you have a galaxy brain intellect like me. You see, if I was CEO of Twitch and I was tasked with getting us out of this pickle here, I know exactly the solution. I know exactly what I'd do. I'd say, look, we honor our debts. Friend, we got off onto the wrong foot and we want to make things all square here. And then I'd print a bill that says $200 million on it. And I'd hand him the $200 million bill and say, we're good. Because that's the only fucking way that this could possibly ever end with this demand. Unless, of course, it just gets thrown out, which it doesn't seem like Russian courts are willing to do. So, you just make up a bill that's $200 million and say, Godspeed figuring out what to do with that, I suppose. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's it. See ya.